All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we are in the midst of creating our characters. So how did we get to this point? So we talked about in part one of this project that basically we just really wanted to start with the shape of our character. And then basically after that, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue refining it until it's exactly how we want. So let's talk about how to actually get to this point, and then we'll talk about how to go from this point. So I want to remind you: do not use Pixlr for this. You are going to draw on a piece of paper in front of you. Try to be a little loose. Use a piece of paper. Use pencil, pen, marker. I don't care what you use. Just use something off the computer. It's the best bet for me to present to you because I don't have a document camera in my house. I actually have to show you how to do all this using Pixlr, but I don't want you using Pixlr yet. We're going to wait to use Pixlr until the very end when we start to actually color this. So let's talk about what to do first. As a reminder, what I want you to do is when you're creating your character, really that these first steps that we're really going to be doing here are going to be creating a character shape. Once we create the shape, then basically we can start coming in and drawing on top of that. So I'm going to set my brush up as if I had a pencil, something with a nice tip on here. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a shape. So really, if I wanted to, I could deal with a small shape for a head. I want to use a larger shape for a body. And then down in the legs, I'm going to come up with another smaller shape, but a little bit bigger than my head. Now, obviously, this does not look like a character, but how can I use this to create a character? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of paper that I have, and I'm going to act like, again, I have a pencil, and I am going to erase my lines so they become like fairly light, and then I can go from there. If you're using a pen or a marker or something like that, what you can do is you can always put a piece of paper on top, and then you can use that little transparency that you see between the two to basically use the original image as something to build upon. If for some reason you can't see it, you can always hold it up to a window. So like put your original sheet of paper on the window, put another piece of paper on top of that, and then work from there. And when we're in the classroom, I have light boards, and basically what you do with that is you put the original image down on the light board, and you put a piece of paper on top. There's a light that shines through. Makes it super easy, just like as if you were to hold it up to a window with the sun behind it. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I am basically going to use these shapes that I created in order to make the overall shape of my character. So basically what I can do is I'm not worried about being like perfect here. Again, I might keep the shape of this head, and I'm sorry, my mouse is going a little nuts again, so I'm going to try this. It is very hard to draw in Pixlr just using a mouse, so that's why I really don't want you doing this. This would be so much easier if I could just use a pencil on a piece of paper. So anyway, so I'm going to say, all right, my arms are going to come here, and I'm just going to build this off of this guy. So I want him to kind of look like he's almost like slouching as he stands. And then I can just add some arms. Notice I'm really just sticking to shapes. I'm not worried about how this is going to look perfectly. So again, I'm going to big head here, and I am going to maybe make giant feet because this is a pretty big dude. And then again, I'm just worrying about the little shapes that are created from my character. I'm not worried about the overall actual look that's going to occur in the very end. I don't even have to worry about facial features or anything at this point. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting of you to do for part one. This is just the final little bit that you need to do for part one. Just get it in where you have a basic shape of a character. Anything beyond this is just extra stuff that you don't necessarily have to do for the first part. Okay, so now once I have this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in another sheet of paper, whatever it needs to be. I'm going to get rid of that initial drawing. I don't need it at this point. And I'm just going to use this one now in order to now start to refine. So maybe I change my mind on some angles of things. I drew on the wrong layer, sorry. That'd be like drawing on the wrong piece of paper. And also, this is where I start paying attention to how smooth my drawing would be, how concise I'm being with the way that I want things to look. So I would focus on maybe showing that there's a hand here rather than just a generic shape. So I would kind of show that thumb being there. Sorry, my mouse is still going a little goofy, but maybe I show the shadows. I don't necessarily like that, so I would come back in and fix this. So anyway, so I would just come in and there you go. I like that better. And then maybe draw my little lines. Again, if I was with a pencil, I'd be able to really make that nice little point there and make some nice lines. But anyway, so what your goal for this next thing is to really start to develop how your character is going to look. Now, does this mean that this is your final? Absolutely not. We're going to do another stage behind or after this where we start to really refine it. Maybe I want this guy to have like a little bit of an like upper part of his belly to show that it's like really round. Maybe I want to add in like a little belt or something along those lines, or at least a belt line. So then this way it looks like the character has like the top of the pants. But again, this is all that's in the second stage, the second part of your project, where now what you're going to do is you're going to start to refine the way that you're drawing your character. So maybe I want them to have that big head, but I want them to have like maybe like a larger dome and then maybe like a strong jaw. So again, this is where you start stepping away from that original and you start to just make more specific decisions on the way that you want your character to look. That's the only thing that's different between step one and step two. Maybe now I start adding in some features. And a little bit of a larger nose. Maybe this guy, even though he's like slouching a little bit, maybe he's got like a big smile and he's laughing. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I can add this in. So maybe that's what I want to do. And later on, I'll make it where these eyes are like really good and perfect. And this time around, I'm just kind of just adding what's in. Maybe I want them to have like some really bushy eyebrows. Something along those lines. And maybe he's got some tiny ears because he's certainly got a big head. Okay. And then maybe he's got like little bits of hair poking up at the top. Again, I'm being very selective in now the way that I'm drawing. So then this way, my character is beginning to evolve into the character that he's going to be in the end when I complete my drawing. So this is it. This is step two. So don't progress any further than this. You don't have to go crazy. There's nothing about coloring it just yet. We're going to talk about coloring probably in the next stage where we start to, like once our character is refined, we're going to talk to you about how to bring this in now to Pixlr and start layering them up and making your character have some color behind them. But that's it. So hopefully this explains it better for you. If you have any questions, please let me know and good luck.